Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday Matters from Barry O'Keefe Library. Our special guest today is Dr. Claudia Anna Brandao, who has conducted sessions for us here in Mossman over many years. We are delighted to have her back for her presentation this morning via Zoom. Anna is a fully qualified Feng Shui consultant and conducts classes and workshops in mindfulness meditation for businesses and private clients. Today, as part of our mental health program, I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Anna Brandao. And this session will be recorded to view at a later time. Thanks, Anna.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Jane. So it's a pleasure to be virtually at the Mossman Library again. So welcome, everyone. I will not be able to see many of you. So I hope the sound is good for you. So as Jane said, my name is Anna. I've been teaching meditation for, I think, 13 years now. And I've taught meditation in courses all around Sydney for many years. And now I'm sort of slowing down, of course, with the lockdowns. And last year, I was teaching at the Buddhist Library only, Buddhist Library in Camperdown, which is a lovely spot. So, so before that, I worked as a scientist. So my background is originally in marine science. I was an oceanographer for 20 years. And so I got a scholarship to come to Australia to do a PhD at the University of Tasmania. So I'm half Tasmanian. I lived there for 12 years. And it's a wonderful place and very conducive for meditation with all the fresh air and the great nature there. So I started meditation by being pushed into a retreat by a dear friend in 2004. Before that, I was, I always thought of meditation, but, I had a little boy by myself. And so you can't just take off and try things. You have to have someone to look after him for me. So it was complicated. And then in 2004, my friend paid for me to go to Byron Bay to do a 10-day intensive retreat, which was a wonderful gift and completely turned my life around. And then I realized that, I had the solution for everything that I was complaining about. And within myself, so instead of pointing fingers, I started looking inwards to realize that, I was creating most of the problems I had. So meditation, and especially having a good teacher, it's very important for us to realize that happiness, is something that's a lot simpler than we think. So now that we're Mental Health Week, so perhaps we can consider that mental health, often people think about happiness. And on a generic sense, when people think about happiness, it will be something that's outside ourselves. Now I'm dying to go to the beach, really, truly, to tell you the truth. After 3 months, I really missed the beach. And last week I managed to have a swim, which was good, on Lane Cove swimming pool. So although those things are really important for mental health as well, especially exercise, fresh air, and talking to friends, a lot of the times the long-term things that we have, problems that we have that we feel unhappy, need to be looked inwards. We need to really look inwards. So there's always two ways with the things that make us happy or makes us unhappy, and half of them or more will be inwards, the way we look at things, the way we interpret the world. And one of the biggest shocks I had when I went to my first Vipassana retreat, which was 4 years after I did my first meditation retreat, where I met my spiritual teacher, was that my mind would not stop. I spent the first 3 days of my Vipassana retreat, like you have to be meditating 12 hours a day. It's very intense. So you have to be with your thoughts a long time. So And I had to wait 4 years to be able to do one. My teacher wouldn't let me because he knew that I have a pretty, negative mind, in a sense that I have a very critic mind. So although I was very successful, as a scientist, developing methodology and all those things, you need to be very critical. Inside, the self-criticism was just overwhelming. So I was my worst enemy. So that was like a big shake-up for me. And luckily, my meditation teacher, she's just wonderful, very kind and caring. And if it had been someone else, I would have left. So those things are important, that we take time for our mental health also to look inwards, to have that me time and see what's inside our heads a little bit, or the self-dialogue. So this is very important for mental health. So today, so I teach mindfulness meditation from the Buddhist perspective. So mindfulness is just one of the qualities that we need for enlightenment, and the way that we practice mindfulness is through sitting meditation. And that's sort of the more effective way. We can apply like awareness to daily living, to brushing our teeth and doing things mindfully. But if we don't have the practice of sitting meditation, the really strong component of mindfulness, of the silence and the observing of the body and observing of the thoughts, then it's sort of hard, complicated to go into discovering things really as they really are, to see through things. So, and it requires intensive practice too. So although the daily practice is very important, for those of you who have done retreats, the daily practice keeps us in touch with, all those teachings, all those learnings we had on our retreat. And our teachers, which are very important. Because the mind quickly, easily go back to, oh, I want food, I want drink, I want party, I want to go out, I need to go for a walk. We distract ourselves, but there will be a time, sometimes because we're sick, sometimes because we are old, sometimes because, we have mobility problems, that we no longer can go chasing after things and distracting ourselves so much. So we have to make a point of being friends with our mind, accepting what's there. And I would not change my mind as much as I have, and I'm still very critical, but I'm very aware of it. So I would have not been able to change my mind if I had not forced myself to sit there for 10 days, looking at it, and sitting with it and just letting see, that part of it was because I had a lot of hurt in my life. So through meditation lead us to a lot of freedom from things that we have been accumulating, and expecting that someone is going to come and cure us. But that someone is just there, just there. That someone that's going to come and cure us is the only cure can come from inwards. Sometimes we may have a good therapist. And I have met some nice therapists from time to time. But the best therapist is ourselves, because we have to face that. Even when we go to therapy, we still have to face it ourselves. We have to be brave. So meditation is for the brave. If people have serious mental health issues, meditation is not for them. They have to do other activities. So one of the persons that I really admire is Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn. So Dr. Jon Kabat-Zinn, he pretty much brought mindfulness to mainstream. And that's how, mindfulness, everyone talks about mindfulness these days. So he started that in 1979. He was, he was already a meditator, and he thought, how can I bring that into the hospital, So he had to spend years trying to convince the director of the hospital to find a place for people to meditate and do some mindfulness meditation there. And because he realized that 2/3 of the people coming in and out of hospital, he was dealing with, outpatients, were not solving their problems. They're still complaining of chronic pain, of other issues. And then he felt that he took a long time and developed this training, mindfulness-based stress reduction. It's still now it's all over the world. But it started, on the underground of a hospital in 1979. So John Kabat-Zinn has written many books. So he has a good definition, a generic definition for mindfulness on, taking the Buddhism out of it. If people are worried about Buddhism being a religion, which is not really. So he says mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. This kind of attention nurtures great awareness, clarity, and acceptance of present moment reality. It wakes us up to the fact that our lives unfold only moments. If we're not fully present for many of these moments, we may not only miss what's most valuable in our lives, but also fail to realize the richness and the depth of possibilities for growth and transformation. So this is from his book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's a very good first book if you're looking for it. And also he says, the mindfulness includes paying attention with curiosity, openness, acceptance, and open-heartedness. So we're going to talk a little bit more about open-heartedness in a little while. So we're going to start by bringing ourselves to this present moment, doing a very quick relaxation, a mindful relaxation, and then we'll do mindfulness of breathing. So it's hard to put audio music without causing too much trouble. So we haven't done that test. So we're just going to, if you have your music, you can put your music on the background, and we'll do a little relaxation. So, a body awareness relaxation, bringing ourselves to this moment, sitting down, perhaps like myself, you have been running around, trying to get organized to sit here on time and enjoy this moment and enjoy these meditations we're going to do today. And then in the end, we should have time for questions. So let's start by finding a comfortable position wherever you are. If you're lying on the floor, sitting on a chair, I'm sitting in a comfortable chair, I have my feet on the cushions, I'm very comfortable. So we're going to bring our full attention to the top of the head. I'm going to start relaxing the top of the head and the forehead. So with each out breath, I'm going to let go of tension in the forehead. In the eyes are closed, but softly closed. The face is relaxed. The mouth is relaxed. And the lips are gently touching. And if you bring a gentle smile to the face, it helps to relax a lot more. So we can continue to just breathe normally. But if with out breath, see if you can let go a bit more and a bit more of any tensions that you observe in your body. We're going to relax all the throat area. Some areas will be kind of funny, but we can visualize that as we breathe in through the nose, we breathe out to the throat, if that was possible. Breathing out of that area in our minds, relaxing and letting go of any tension there as we breathe out. And then shoulders, breathing in through the nose, breathing in through the shoulders and letting go. And letting go of any tensions in the chest area, the top of the back, the middle of the back, the lower back, the upper arms, the lower arms, and the hands. See if you have the hands relaxed on the lap without pushing or grasping. So the whole body is relaxed. If you're lying down, that's easy. If you're sitting up, just relax your hands on your thighs. The arms are soft, the hands are soft. We relax the upper chest. We can relax the abdomen, breathing out, letting go of any tensions there. And now relaxing the lower part of the body, relaxing the buttocks, the groin area, relaxing the thighs, relaxing the legs, and relaxing the feet. Notice your whole body more relaxed, on the top of the head, all the way down to the tips of the toes. And continue to let go a bit more and a bit more of each out breath. Relaxing more and more and more. Letting go. Staying with the body, staying in the present moment. Staying present in your body. Not running away. And relaxing. And relax. So we just stay like that, enjoying that relaxation for just another minute. And as we are relaxing still, we can bring the awareness to the abdomen. And without changing the breath, observing that the abdomen rises as we breathe in and falls as we breathe out. In a nice rhythm. Just observing without changing the breath. It goes a little bit like waves on the beach. Not two waves are the same. So like the breath, no two breaths are the same. So stay with this relaxed moment for a little bit more. And then gently becoming aware of the room around you. We start moving our toes, moving our fingers, moving our feet, as our legs, moving our hands and our arms. And then we come back to a sitting position. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And here we are. So relaxation is an important thing, a first step into us doing some breath meditation. So the most basic, not the easiest, but the most basic type of meditation in meditation on the breath. So unless you're having trouble with your breathing, have a bad cold, or you perhaps have natural trouble with your breathing, it's not so conducive. But when I teach mindfulness of the breath, I teach on a Burmese way, which is again focusing on the abdomen, just like we just did before. So focusing on the nose is hard. I have to say my nose has been blocked forever because I have to wear masks for work all the time. And I think that's so toxic. But so I'm glad I don't have to focus on the breath on my nose. So a good way of doing it, which people who have been breathing nose, if you're used to it, fine, that's fine. But if you want to start, I think it's easier to start off the abdomen. It's quite a subtle movement to notice the rising and the falling of the abdomen with breath meditation. But you just stay with it, even if you cannot touch it, you cannot feel it, you know. So let's just do a little experiment before we close our eyes and before we start meditation. If you put your hands on your lower abdomen, so like your hands can even be rested on your legs, and then you might be able to start notice. If you close your eyes, it's easier. Noticing the rising, perhaps you have noticed before the rising as we breathe in, the falling as we breathe out. It's quite subtle. When we do long hours of this practice, it becomes more obvious. So breath meditation is also called calm abiding. So it's a meditation that calms the mind. And so we're just focusing on something that we have. We can go to the park, we can go to the beach, we can go everywhere. We can sit in the car and do breath meditation. The breath is there. And if we focus on the abdomen, I think it's more relaxing also. But the intention of breath meditation is that we raise our awareness of things that we don't normally notice, you know. So like I work with elderly people now as a home carer. So I'm always kind of rushing. Sometimes it's very stressful, you know. I work with people with dementia. They have good days, they have bad days. And I'm a very patient person, but you still get that stress. So it's good to stop sometimes, you know, when I sit down and I find a moment to sit down, I kind of notice that my shoulders first thing and let go the shoulders and come back to my breath. So I kind of don't drain all my energy, you know, before my shift is finished, to save energy, because we do have a minute sometimes to sit down in my job, which is good. So we are going to do this mindfulness of the breathing, focusing on the abdomen, the rising and falling. We're going to do it for 10 minutes. So when we meditate, it's very good if we can meditate still, you know, if we can be still. So if you're lying down, you want to continue with your hands on your abdomen, that's good. But meditation is best done sitting up, especially if you're beginning, unless you have severe pain. Sitting up is better. Sometimes we have a cushion under our feet to be comfortable. And then I have a cushion on my back, so I'm upright and comfortable. And I keep my hands on my thighs. So we keep that sort of upright posture with that awareness. And so we're going to start. by taking a deep breath in with the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So we're going to bring our full attention, our full awareness to the breath in the abdomen. So as we breathe in, the abdomen rises. As we breathe out, the abdomen lowers. So it is good when we're beginning to use some words. So when we notice that the abdomen is rising, we repeat words silently to ourselves, gently, rising, rising, then falling, falling, rising, falling. So we have to just be careful of the words. So the words are not commands. The words are just nothing that we repeat. It's just in our mind. It's just a noting. So we stay with that movement, stay present to that movement. We don't run away with the stories in our minds and what we have to do, things that have happened. So when we notice that the abdomen is rising, we make that noting silently to ourselves. Rising, falling, rising, falling. The mind is not used to being in the present moment. It's not used to be paying attention in one object only. The mind is going to go and tell stories. Remember, all we have to do today, we let go. Now it's time for ourselves, it's time for our meditation. Come back, patiently and kindly bring the attention back to the abdomen, to the breath, to this present moment. So meditation requires that patience, that kindness, that acceptance. Patiently bring the attention back to the breath again and again. We are learning. Each time we sit, we want to sit fresh, as if we have never done before. Because every time we sit, it's going to be different. It's like training a puppy, some teachers say. If we yell at the puppy, kick the puppy, we don't do that. We just again and again sit, sit. Eventually, the puppy sits and gets a biscuit. We don't get a biscuit, but we get some peace of mind. So patiently again, bring the attention back to the abdomen. And we do that many times. That's part of the meditation. And if time, and we continue, the mind calms down. Through that practice, the body is used to it. And we even find some relief when we sit on our cushion, sit on our chair, recline on an armchair, whatever place you normally like to sit for finding some peacefulness. That's our time to meditate. We spend the whole day thinking. Now we're doing the non-thinking work. It's going to support us throughout the day with more clarity, more peace of mind, more understanding, more compassion. And for those of you who have done it before, you know that even sometimes we sit and the mind is all over the place. We may only have 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And we felt that our meditation was not good. Still, when we get up, we feel better. We continuously, patiently, kindly. Every time we notice the mind has gone away, planning, thinking, regretting the past, worrying about the future, we let that all go. Come back to the present moment, to the rising and the falling. And our meditation is coming to an end. So we start moving our fingers, our toes, our arms and our legs. Bringing our attention to any sounds around ourselves, outside our body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So if we remember to do that a few times a day, even if we do 5 minutes, sometimes even a 3-minute meditation can help us, to reduce anxiety, stress. Apparently, people are already anxious about being out of lockdown. So we don't know, it's all the unknown, but everything is unknown, really. Every time we walk out of the house, there is an unknown there. So being in the present moment is important. John Lennon is supposed to have said some of his famous words. Life is what happens while you're busy making other plans. So we want to be present to our lives. We want to be there when things are happening. The good, the bad, and the ugly. We want to be there. So I'll read it to you. So perhaps some of you have heard of Pema Chodron. She's a famous meditation teacher on the Tibetan tradition. She's been married twice and she's published many, many books about our crazy minds. And she's American or Canadian. And no, she lives in Canada. Sorry, she's American. But she lived a full life, and then she has taught all around the world. And she's quite funny. You can listen to her on YouTube. Pema Chodron, P-E-M-A. Chodron is C-H-O-D-R-O-N. And so there are many, many talks and books from her. I think her most famous book is When Things Fall Apart, and so that's sort of a lot of the time people come to meditation because of suffering, divorce, breakdowns, a loss of a loved one, trauma. So she's written this article for this magazine called Open Your Heart and Mind to Life. The mind is very wild. The human experience is full of unpredictability and paradox, joys and sorrows, successes and failures. We can't escape any of these experiences in a vast terrain of our existence. It is part of what makes life grand, and it is also why our minds take us on such crazy ride. If you can train ourselves through meditation to be more open and more accepting toward the wild arc of our experience, if we can lean into the difficulties of life and the ride of our minds, we can become more settled and relaxed amid whatever life brings. There are numerous ways to work with the mind. One of the most effective is through the tool of sitting meditation. Sitting meditation opens us to each and every moment of our life. Each moment is totally unique and unknown. We've never experienced this moment before. And the next moment will not be the same as the one we are in now. Meditation teaches how to relate to life directly, so we can truly experience the present moment, free from conceptual overlay. We do not meditate in order to be comfortable. In other words, we don't meditate in order to always, all the time, feel comfortable or feel good. I imagine shock waves are passing through you as you read this, because so many people come to meditation to simply feel better. However, the purpose of meditation is not to feel bad. You're glad to know. Rather, meditation gives us the opportunity to have an open, compassionate attentiveness to whatever's going on. The meditative space is like the big sky, spacious, vast enough to accommodate anything that arises. In meditation, our thoughts and emotions can become like clouds that dwell and pass away. Good and comfortable, pleasing and difficult and painful, all of this comes and goes. So the essence of meditation is training in something that's quite radical and definitely not the habitual pattern of the species, and that is to stay with ourselves, no matter what's happening, without putting labels of good and bad, right or wrong, pure and impure, on the top of our experience. So simple but not easy, and that's meditation, for Pema Chodron. So she's very good at dealing with the highs, and she's very very true about her experiences. So she's a wonderful writer and a great teacher, and she always brings a little bit of humor to whatever she's teaching. So there is one important thing that I always teach in my classes, which is what we called, it has been translated in English as loving kindness meditation. It's not a great translation. So I use the Pali word for metta. So metta is literally a wish for another person, another being, to be well and happy. So it's sort of a selfish wish that we can use towards a selfless wish, that we can also for others to be well and happy. So this is metta is like loving kindness is meant to be a little bit like compassion. So in the teachings, we learn that loving kindness, when loving kindness meets suffering, it becomes compassion. So loving kindness is sort of the seed of compassion. So if we have to meditate on compassion, sometimes it's very painful. So compassion will naturally grow in ourselves as we meditate on loving kindness, which is that wish for another person, sometimes for another animal, to be well and happy, like independent of my wishes. I may sit here and sort of wish for my partner to be nice to me, so I want him to be well, so he stopped bothering me either. But the intention of loving kindness is that we wish another person to be well for their own sake, because if someone is happy, they are kind, so for their own sake. So of course we do not start with a difficult person. Sometimes it's best not even to start with the person closest to us. So we're going to do a little meditation. We're not going to take too long, and I wanted to open the opportunity for some questions or comments after that. So in order for us to do the loving kindness meditation, is a heart-based meditation. So we focus on this well wish in the center of our chest. It's best to think of a dear friend to do this meditation, a friend that you're not attracted to physically, but a friend, and also a friend that is not your best friend necessarily, but someone that's very easy for you to really wish them to be well. Perhaps sometimes we can be like our GP, could be someone that taught us, someone that's very easy, helped us, or a dear friend, but not perhaps your closest friend, because, once you become close to people, we see all their sides, no one is perfect, but someone that's very easy for you to think and really wish this person to be well. So these are the wishes: well, happy, and peaceful, So we may think this person's already very wise, but we want them to also to be safe. So you can say, may you be happy and safe. May you be well and peaceful. So you can change the words a little bit, and you continue bringing that attention to your heart and wishing that person to be well. So after we developed a little bit, we bring that towards ourselves. But we start with someone else. Sometimes it's easier to develop. If you have a good relationship with your father or your mother, and they're not ill, they're healthy, and if you're not worried about them, you can also do that towards your parents. But it's best to do towards a dear friend that is not ill, that you have no concerns about them, because the practice is, we start with something that's easy. We want that to develop. We really feel that heart opening. And but even if we're not feeling the heart opening, the words, they settle and settle and settle. It's a beautiful, beautiful practice. It's my favorite meditation. I go on retreats of my meditation teacher. She teaches in the Burmese tradition Vipassana, but we spend the whole first week. I normally do 3-4 weeks of her. The whole first week meditating on loving kindness, and that helps the concentration also afterwards, because the mind is calm, the heart is open, and the body is supple. So loving kindness is also good, so you don't feel the pain in your body that you feel on the first few days of intensive retreat, because you're just meditating on goodness. It's a blissful, wonderful thing to have and to carry around. And then when we come out of retreat, we just feel this sort of compassion. We have to actually easing into the world again, to to the world that's not so compassionate. So I'll just quickly read you a little story just to warm up, and then we'll do a little meditation. So that's a lovely little book. They have lots of these books. It's still around. Chicken Soup for the Soul. I still love my paper books because they have all my bookmarks and everything. So this book, this one, I think was the first one that was ever published. It's called A Simple Gesture. And I'll read the story for you. These stories are all true stories. People write to the authors, the letters, and they publish them. I think to this day, that's how it is. They just rewrite and make it understandable. So, a simple gesture. Mark was walking home from school one day when he noticed the boy ahead of him had tripped and dropped all of the books he was carrying, along with 2 sweaters, a baseball bat, a glove, and a small tape recorder. Mark knelt down and helped the boy pick up the scattered articles. Since they are going the same way, he helped to carry part of the burden. As they walked, Mark discovered the boy's name was Bill, that he loved video games, baseball, and history, and he was having a lot of trouble with his other subjects, and that he'd just broken up with his girlfriend. They arrived at Bill's home first, and Mark was invited in for a Coke to watch some television. The afternoon passed pleasantly with a few laughs and some shared small talk. Then Mark went home. They continued to see each other around school, had lunch together once or twice, then both graduated from junior high school. They ended up in the same high school where they had brief contacts over the years. Finally, the long-awaited senior year came, and 3 weeks before graduation, Bill asked Mark if they could talk. Bill reminded him of the days years ago when they had first met. Do you ever wonder why I was carrying so many things home that day? Asked Bill. You see, I cleaned out my locker because I didn't want to leave that mess for anyone else. I had stored away some of my mother's sleeping pills and I was going home to commit suicide. But after we spent so much time together talking and laughing, I realized that if I had killed myself, I would have missed that time and so many other times that might follow. So you see, Mark, when you picked up my books that day, you did a lot more. You actually saved my life. Small acts of kindness go a long way. So let's close our eyes and do some meditation. So, and you can practice this with some nice music. You can download my meditations. They have nice music from our website. So we're going to bring our attention to our body, bring our attention to our hearts. Think of our dear friend, the one we chose, or we can choose one quickly now. And imagine that this friend is sitting sort of close to us, opposite to us, perhaps on a coffee shop. Now that we can do that, and you're wishing our friends to be well and happy for their own sake. We don't need to remember their stories, but we just remember that wish for this person to be well and happy. So you can say, perhaps your friend is called Joe. Say, may Joe, silently to yourself, may Joe be well, happy and peaceful. May Joe be well, happy and peaceful. May Joe be well, happy and peaceful. Or we can just say, may Joe be safe and well. May Joe be safe and well. So we do that silently, again and again, slowly and gently. And the words are just to help us to cultivate that feeling in our heart. We can sort of visualize that friend in our heart. can imagine we're giving them a hug, we're cultivating that loving kindness. Then we gently and kindly, may Joe be safe and well. May Joe be safe and well. Just feeling that feeling in your heart. The words just guiding you to cultivate that feeling. The words are just words. We want to cultivate that feeling. And as we did before, if the mind wanders off, we bring the attention back to the heart, to that cultivation of metta, of loving kindness. May my friend be well and happy. May my friend be well and happy. We bring the attention back to the heart. If you find you're getting distracted, you can imagine giving your friend a big hug. If your friend is not that close, shaking their hand or spending time with him or her. May you be safe and well. May you be safe and well. So it's a selfless wish, whatever they are, for their own sake, may they be happy. And the mind goes, and we bring the attention back to the heart space in the center of our chest. We can visualize our friend sitting close to us. May you be well and happy and peaceful. May you be well, meaning on the health sense. May you be happy on the heart sense. May you have peace of mind. And sometimes we can just say, may you be happy. May you be happy. May you be happy. And now meditation is coming to an end. We start moving our fingers, our toes. We enjoy spending time with our friend. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So metta meditation, it's like, a swim in a cool mountain river. It's really, really nice. For some people, it takes longer. If people have, I remember the first time I had to do metta meditation on a retreat for a whole day. The words are just getting to me. I just felt like I was a machine, So we have to find that rhythm where the words are gentle and soft. The words are just a reminder for the metta. Once we get the metta strong, we can just be there in the presence of that other person. So it's really something that helps us. And then once you feel like you are developing some metta, you can use the metta as your first meditation. So you can sit for your mindfulness meditation before and do 5 minutes of metta, because it sort of helps the body to soften as well, bringing all that kindness. And of course, metta is not something that we send. It's not that we're sending energy to other people. The metta is actually something we do for ourselves. And of course, if we cultivate a lot of metta, we're going to be nicer to everyone we come across. So it's beneficial to us. But amazing things happen. When I was lucky enough to go to Burma early 2015 for a 2-week metta retreat. So we spent 2 weeks just doing metta in the land of the meditators, which was wonderful. Up in the mountains, it was nice and cool in January. And beautiful days. We didn't have a cloud in the sky for the whole of 2 weeks I was there. It was a bit like really being in paradise. All these people practicing metta, it was just heaven on earth. And it was hard to leave. Like, we had to be trained to go home after that, to say like, you're too open, you have to sort of slow down. But it's sort of a transformational practice, and often with lasting results. When we come home, people can tell that we're different. So it's really like a purification practice, and loving kindness, metta, is a purification against anger. As Westerners, especially, we have more anger. So the Burmese, they're just much more gentle people naturally. But as Westerners, we're always afraid that someone is doing something, or we're always aware of everything, especially when we live in a big place, in a big city. Perhaps not so much in the country. But so it's a relational practice, and the animals come to you and people come to you. It's just really quite an amazing practice. When I was there in Burma, we had classes of the Sayadaw there, which is amazing. And most Sayadaws teach Vipassana, intensive Vipassana. This Sayadaw teaches metta. He was the first to actually introduce metta as a support for his Vipassana teaching. And it was the first time he was actually teaching an only metta retreat, because my teachers said to him, they will love it. They need that. They're Westerners. They really need that. And he told us a story. He was teaching in Burmese, and my teacher would translate. And he said that he has a lot of businessmen that go to his monastery, and this man said to him he was having trouble with this person at work, and then he said, you have to do matter for this person. You know, when we go on retreat, we first start with a dear friend, and then we go to a close friend, and then a neutral person, someone that we don't know their name, we've seen him around or her around, and then we leave the enemy, you know, the person you have trouble last, you know, for the last sort of week, because it's harder to sit there and wish a person that you have problems with to be well and happy, you know. But this man followed all the instructions, and when he went back to work, this person was completely nice and friendly to him. It completely had changed, and was like, wow. So it's that kind of thing. Have I changed? Has him changed? It's so those kind of magic that happens. It's powerful, powerful meditation, and of course leads to friendliness, leads to a peaceful world. It's not that kindness, acceptance. We open our hearts to others, we lead to a peaceful world. So we'll stop here. I'm not sure how long I have been talking to. Someone has been counting the time. And then if people want to ask questions, someone has to coordinate that for me. Perhaps people can ask the right questions. Let me know how we do that. And I'm happy to. I do have recorded meditations on my website. You can download them. I recorded some meditations for the Buddhist Library of Sydney. You have to do Buddhist Library of Sydney, or else you go to overseas libraries. And I recorded on YouTube. It's just a recording, but it's on YouTube for the Buddhist Library Sydney. You can download meditations that I have recorded, or the ones on my website a little bit better recorded, because my son helped me to do. It's livinginharmony.com.au. The bottom of my meditation page, I think there's 2 or 3. There's a relaxation of music. And if you can't find anything there, or what you're wanting, because I have changed things, I'm not quite sure what's there, you can email me. It just says ana@livinginharmony.com.au. So it's just Anna, SANA, at livinginharmony.com.au, and ask me, and then I can upload whatever's not there for you. I teach body scan as well. It's very good. It just requires a little bit more attention, to more teachings involved with that. But I hope you have enjoyed our sessions, and if you have questions, you can use the chat, or we can coordinate and people putting their hands up. So there is someone here. So Chris?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, Anna. Thank you for that. I've done sort of yoga over the years, and there's a lot of overlaps between all these sort of things with yoga. But one thing I always found when we did meditation at the end of yoga was how it's difficult to maintain your consciousness if you start relaxing, because you automatically start relaxing and then you start falling into a sleep. And I do know that occasionally someone would have a snort or something in yoga as they were meditating. Now, what's you say you've got to keep in the
Yes, so the reality is I teach Buddhist meditation, so it's very different. So when I go to yoga, I love yoga, and but it's a relaxation. So it's a body awareness relaxation that you go through, and you feel tired, you will fall asleep. So it is a relaxation. It's not actually a meditation. So meditation is mostly done upright. So
Right.
that's why people sit on a cushion. Like the cushion is not to make you suffer, it's because the position that you sit cross-legged, you have to train yourself to sit cross-legged. I had to train myself. It's because of the flow of energy is perfect. So I can sit for an hour with cross-legged better than I can sit in a chair for an hour. So upright. So meditation is really upright. So when we lie down, unless we have chronic pain, and if we have chronic pain, we can sit against a cushion, but it's best to trust our body, to be upright by itself. So it's good for the muscles too, if we can. And of course we can start on a chair until we have someone to teach us how to sit nicely on a cushion. Needs to be in person. So hopefully now everything is coming back to having in-person help, which is great. But yes, sitting is much better. We need, even when we're sitting, we lose it, isn't it?
But with meditation, you've got to stay in the time. You've got to stop yourself from going too far and going into a nap, a sleep, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so meditation is not relaxation, it's awareness. You have to be aware and you're paying attention. So if you feel very tired, it's not a good idea to try to meditate. But if you wanted to do every day and you do it even when you're very tired, you can. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, you have to find a time that is suitable for you. So the first thing in the morning, go get up. Sometimes people go get up, have a cup of tea, just a plain cup of tea, come and sit. Sometimes people go get up, have a shower, and then sit and meditate. If you get out of bed and roll into your cushion or your chair, it's kind of not ideal. One of my teachers, he was very strict about that. He said, we have to be dressed, to meditate. We're not going to meditate in our pajamas. We have to be there like we're meeting our best self. We have to be nice.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
My pleasure. So I'll just see if there are some chats and questions here. So there is someone, Raylene, asked why sitting up is better. So I just mentioned that. I hope I answered your question.
You have, thank you.
And so people saying thank you. Why sitting up is better? Because we stay awake. And if we sit on a cushion, the position on a cushion cross-legged, I have to show people how to cross-leg without harming themselves. Sometimes we have to start with a very high cushion until the legs, soften. Chair is fine. Sit on a chair, no problem. Put a cushion on your feet, so there's that extra comfort. And if you have severe pain that you can't sit on a cushion nor on a chair for a long time, sit the most upright you can, leaning on something, but upright is best, even if it's leaning a little bit back or something, because lying down for meditation is hard, unless you have no other choice. Because we lie down to sleep, so it's hard to stay awake. I have done it, I have done overnight walk or meditations that you go 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour lying down. Every hour lying down that I did, I probably slept 40 minutes of it. It's hard. It's hard. So my email was Anna. I'll just type here my email in the messages. So it's just ANA@livinginharmony.com.au. So my website is livinginharmony.com.au. So you go to livinginharmony.com.au/meditation. That's my meditation page. You scroll all the way to the bottom. So it's livinginharmony.com.au/meditation. And so at the bottom you find, certainly you're going to find a breath meditation, and perhaps the body scan. But anyway, you can write it to me and ask for normally I'll have a loving kindness or metta meditation there, and mindfulness of breathing there, and a body scan there. But we didn't do the body scan. The body scan takes a little bit longer, but it's a good one too. So for some people, you know, paying attention, moving through the body is easier than just focusing on the breath, you know. For some people, like I have a very analytical mind. I've noticed that some other people have very analytical minds. They also do the body scan. They prefer to do the body scan. You're scanning, like you have that technicality of scanning the body from the top of the head, the face, the throat, the shoulders, you know, like a little bit like we did with the relaxation, but the relaxation is about lying down and relaxing. So I used to teach evening classes. So people come after work, we just lie down and relax before we get up to meditate. So in your next class will be available. I am not sure. I'm not sure. So yeah, so we need to plan for that. But once a year I come to the Mossman Library. So, but yeah, I'd love to be teaching in person again. So keep track of my meditation page.
Thank you very much, Anna, for giving us your time today.
Thank you
fabulous.
so much, everyone. Yes, so
we hope that next time we see you, you'll be back in the library in person.
Yes, in person again. It's just so lovely. It's been so good to me as well to be with all of you in a group in Zoom. It's been really good for me as well.
Worked really well.
Yeah, it is good. My place has been quiet today, which is great. Even the birds didn't make too much noise.
Okay, thanks, Anna. Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you so much, Jane.
And
I'll see you again in person at the Mossman Library in 12 months.
Or before.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.